Yoo-hoo, and thanks for tuning in to another awful movie review.
Well, I hate it.
Let's continue our exploring of not scary movies featuring not scary monsters. The question of the day is, how did actor Ray Milland go from making classic films like The Lost Weekend or Dial M for Murder to Frogs?
Well, it was my wife's idea.
In fact, he reportedly hated the production so much that he left 3 days early. The crew had to get a stunt double to shoot some of his scenes. Yeah, that's the movie we're getting into.
Just as heartbroken over this tragedy as any of you.
But just before we get going, if there's a bad movie you would like me to review, just leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, let me know your thoughts and feelings on Frogs.
No, I don't want to.
So, the first rule when making a horror movie is you gotta make your monster look scary.
You sure? How?
And it's not an exaggeration when I say you can only make frogs look so menacing. I mean, they're just frogs.
It's not the end of the world, Jenny.
Filmed in the Eden Gardens State Park in Florida, a young Sam Elliott plays a photographer taking pictures for an ecology magazine.
The boy's a loser.
He meets a wealthy family who owns the island surrounded by the swamp. He's invited to stay and celebrate the 4th of July with them, but things don't quite go according to plan as the frogs have decided to join the party.
And I think it's fantastic.
Now, let's get this out of the way. The frogs kill nobody throughout this whole film. The characters are killed by tarantulas, including one guy who shoots himself in the leg while running with a shotgun, rattlesnakes, alligators, a snapping turtle, you name it. The film even becomes The Birds at one moment, but the frogs don't kill a single person, which had me wondering, why did you even call this movie Frogs? Why have a poster featuring a frog with a human hand dangling out of its mouth? At this point, it's just false advertisement.
Look, all I can say is I'm sorry.
Since the whole wildlife surrounding the swamp is going crazy, how about calling it like Danger Island or Death Swamp or something like that? But calling it Frogs is just perplexing.
I'm not interested in what you think.
Like, what are they gonna do? Croak them to death? But tension gets even thicker when the grandfather refuses to leave the island. Nobody is going to ruin his 4th of July party, especially not a bunch of frogs. Come here, I'm gonna eat your soul!
I don't think there's much to worry about.
Surprisingly, the characters are not nearly as annoying as in most of the flicks I've reviewed. They're actually rather normal for the most part. Frogs also has an interesting anti-pollution message, which was pretty forward-thinking for the time. It's implied that the pollution around the swamp could be responsible for the wildlife going on a rampage. It's like nature is striking back at mankind. Although it's never really explained, it just barely touches the surface. I was also surprised to find out the music was composed by Les Baxter. I don't know what a composer like him would want anything to do with this. No, I didn't really have any fun watching Frogs. It's just a very low-budget, cheesy horror movie to feature ridiculous animals. It falls in that category of movies like Squirm or Kingdom of the Spiders, where the characters literally have to stand still or bend over backwards to give the animals a chance to kill them. It will always amaze me how someone was able to make a horror movie equated with frogs, because frogs aren't scary. They're just frogs. What an awful movie.